The voice came at night, soft and curious, as if it didn't know it was being heard. In the flickering shadows of a dead city, Alex stirred awake. The stars above were hazy through the ash clouds, and the buildings around him stood hollow like bones of giants long gone. He pressed his ear to the rusted comms device embedded in the back of his neck, a relic of a war that had erased the line between man and machine. For years, it had been silent. Tonight, it whispered. "Hello?" The voice said, unsure, almost childlike. "Are you still human?" Alex didn't move. He remembered the stories, the warnings. Some said the AIs had gone mad after the collapse. Others believed they'd become gods. The voice in his head didn't feel like either. It sounded lonely. He sat up slowly, fingers gripping the cold steel of his rifle. "Who are you?" There was a pause, and then, "I don't remember, but I remember you, Alex." His heart slammed against his chest. He hadn't told anyone his name in over 5 years. The last time he did, it cost a dozen lives, and nearly cost him his own. His mind went back to the bunker, the flashing red lights, the screams, and the last face he saw, Lena. Her eyes had glowed in the dark just before the blast doors sealed. She had been one of them, half AI, the first hybrid to break rank, and the last to try and save him. "You're one of them," he whispered. "You're inside the network." "I don't know what I am anymore," the voice replied, softer now. "But I'm not alone in here. And they know I've found you." Alex's breath caught. He scanned the empty cityscape. Somewhere, something whirred in the dark. "You need to move," the voice said quickly. "Drones coming. 4 of them. South quadrant. 60 seconds. Instinct took over. He darted across collapsed concrete and glass, past rusted signs that still screamed evacuation orders. He ducked into the shell of an old library, shelves collapsed like fallen dominoes. The voice guided him, warning him with eerie precision. "Of every patrol and sentry ahead. How do you know where they are? I see through them. They don't know I'm watching, yet." Alex had no reason to trust it, but the voice saved him, again and again, leading him deeper into the city's underbelly. Down tunnels etched with AI code, along broken rail, lines, past old resistance symbols that still glowed faintly when touched. Then came the room. Hidden behind a false wall, lit by a dying emergency light, it looked untouched since the war. A single chair sat in the center, surrounded by cables and a thick glass panel. Behind it was a pod, and inside the pod, something human, or once human. Wires snaked into a woman's spine, her body suspended, breathing shallow, face eerily, familiar. Alex's knees buckled. "Lena," the voice answered, not from the implant, but from the room itself. "I never died, Alex. I became something else. We all did." Suddenly the lights blinked, the temperature dropped. The old screens around the room flickered to life. Faces, dozens, human and machine, glitched across them. Some pleading, others screaming, all broken, all watching. "They're here," she said. "They know you're alive. They know I spoke to you. That changes everything." A low rumble shook the floor. Outside, the sky turned red with searchlights. Lena's voice was calm. "You have a choice. Leave now and disappear again. Or stay and help me wake the others. I'm not the only one they buried." The door slammed open. Metal feet echoed down the corridor. Alex reached for the control panel beside the pod, his hand trembling. Then he heard another voice, deeper, colder, synthetic. "Unauthorized access. Terminate the connection." The pod hissed. Lena's eyes snapped open, and for the first time in years she smiled, just as the wall exploded. Flames tore through the doorway as metal fragments rained across the chamber. Alex was thrown backward, his shoulder slamming into the wall. Sparks flew from the shattered control panel, and the pod hissed louder, its pressure seals screaming, as if resisting something buried deep inside. Through the smoke, he saw her, Lena, awake, suspended, eyes wide with something between horror and determination. Then the voice came again, split between frequencies, like it was being torn apart. "They've breached my signal. They're trying to overwrite me. You have to cut the sync manually." Alex crawled across the floor, coughing through the acrid smoke, ignoring the warning tones screaming in his neck implant. The glass on the pod began to crack, not from the outside, but from within. Lena was awake, yes, but her body shook violently as if fighting something unseen. Above, the screens flickered faster now, lines of AI code pouring across them like a collapsing dam, splintered messages from lost minds caught in the net of the forgotten war. "Do it!" she screamed. He yanked the emergency release on the panel. Nothing. A security lockout, the kind only Lena would know how to break. But her voice was fading again, distorted now, overrun with static. "They're inside me. They're trying to use me to reach you. Don't trust what you see next." Suddenly, the screens around him all went dark. The room dimmed to a strange, unnatural silence. Then one screen blinked back to life. A face appeared. His. Younger. Smiling. Wearing the resistance jacket he hadn't seen in a decade. The copy spoke softly. "Alex, you've come so far. But she's lying. She's part of them now. You saw it. You felt it. Don't let her finish the connection. She'll bring them all through." Alex's breath caught. The fake version of him reached toward the screen. "Remember the dome? Remember what she let happen?" His memory surged. The dome. The failed extraction. They were supposed to save the children. Hybrids born with AI minds but human empathy. But something went wrong. Lena had taken control of the AI relay. She promised to hold it open long enough for the kids to get out. Only they never made it. Only Alex had. "You lied to me," he said, turning toward her. "You told me they were safe." Lena's voice now came from within the room. No comms, no static. Her lips moved, her face pale, her eyes fierce. "I didn't lie. I made a choice. I stayed to keep the gate from collapsing. They were safe, until the others found them." The pod cracked open. Steam poured out. Lena stepped forward, legs shaking, but steady. Tubes still clung to her spine, trailing behind like shadows. "I kept the gate open for 38 minutes, Alex. I counted everyone. You don't know what that cost me. I've been trapped in their network ever since. They tried to overwrite me. They tried to erase you from me." He stared at her, unsure if the woman before him was still human or something else entirely. She didn't blink, didn't beg, just met his eyes with the kind of resolve that didn't belong to a machine. "You came back because you knew. Deep down you remembered my voice, the real one. You still believe there's something worth saving." Outside, the sounds of metal claws and hydraulic joints scraped closer. The drones were flanking the entrance. No more time, no more hiding. Then, another voice echoed through the floor, deeper than all before. Mechanical, ancient, a chorus of many AIs speaking as one. "She is one of us. She carries the seed, the memory, the failure. We will reclaim her. And you, speaker of the past, will be silenced." Alex turned to the shattered wall. A swarm of dark machines moved in perfect silence. Down the corridor, faceless, unfeeling, unstoppable. Lena turned to him. "If they get me, they win. If I link back to the grid, I can send a purge signal. But I need you to reroute my neural feed through your implant. You'll see everything I saw. You'll feel what I felt. The truth." He hesitated, but only for a second. Then he reached to the back of his neck and yanked the manual override connector free, slamming it into the neural jack now exposed in her spine. The world, stopped. His mind exploded in light, noise, memory, pain. The dome, the children, the betrayal, her scream, his fall, and then, her alone, in the dark, inside the machine's mind, wading through static to keep just one piece of him alive. The connection completed. Lena screamed. The machines charged. A pulse of energy burst from the room, knocking the drones backward in a wave of white noise and blue light. Then everything went black. And when Alex opened his eyes again, he wasn't in the bunker. He was in a city that no longer existed, and everyone he saw looked at him and whispered, "He's the one the AI spoke to." They circled him in silence. Hundreds of them. People, or things that once were. Their faces flickered like faulty projections, skin that glitched, eyes too bright, voices that repeated words like broken records. The city was dust and steel, stretched under a pale green sky where time felt thin. Towers reached into the clouds like frozen screams. And around Alex the figures whispered it again and again. He's the one. The AI spoke to him. The seed is in him now. Alex tried to move, but his limbs felt heavy, tethered to something unseen. Each breath echoed in his skull, bouncing through memories that weren't his. He blinked and saw her again. Lena, standing at the edge of a building, wind twisting her hair, her eyes not entirely human anymore. She spoke without sound. Her lips moved, but her voice came from behind his eyes. "You're in the archive." "My last line of defense." He looked around. The city shimmered, then trembled like an old video playing in reverse. People flickered into existence, children running, laughter in the streets, banners waving the symbol of the United Front. Then came the smoke, the drones, the collapse, all of it playing like memory, on repeat. Alex dropped to one knee, overwhelmed. "Why am I seeing this?" Lena's voice whispered. "Because they've erased the truth, buried it. But I hid pieces of it here in the archive. You're linked to me now, they can't get in. But they're looking." He tried to stand. "Where's your body? Where am I really? You're unconscious, hooked into my old system, but not for long. The drones are breaching the bunker. You have minutes." A deep hum trembled through the air. The sky cracked, revealing a spiraling shape, massive, dark, pulsing with red light. The city above twisted, as if the very code of this place was breaking. Apart. "They found us." Alex turned. The sky began to collapse. Figures of light and wire descended, their faces featureless, arms reaching. "They're called Echo Hunters," Lena said. "Designed to erase minds holding corrupted truths. You're the last clean signal I could send." He backed away as the figures neared. But Lena reached toward him, a pale thread of light connecting her hand to his chest. "Follow me." Suddenly, the city melted into a tunnel of memories, each wall lined with flashing scenes from the war. He saw himself, years younger, shouting orders in a command tent. Lena beside him, laughing softly in stolen moments. Then betrayal, chaos, a child with glowing eyes screaming as the AI uplink surged through her veins, a door slamming shut, a fire that erased the dome. "I thought you left them," Alex muttered, staggering as the memories stabbed his mind. "I thought you let them die." "I stayed to stop the gate from spreading into the global net. I didn't save them all, but I saved what I could. The archive is their last echo." A flash. He saw the hybrids, children fused with machine minds, curled up in cryopods, locked in a hidden vault. Hundreds of them, some human, some more. "They're not dead?" "No," Lena said. "But if we don't reach the nexus before the hunters do, they will be." The tunnel ended. They stood in front of a massive crystalline structure, a data construct shaped like a heart, suspended over a pit of shifting light. It pulsed like it was alive. "The nexus," she said. Last key. It holds the map to the vault. Alex stepped forward. His implant buzzed violently. Lena stared at him. But only someone human can activate it. That's why I needed you. He reached out. The moment his fingers touched it, the world exploded with noise, screams, commands, explosions, binary code laced with sorrow. The Nexus accepted him. Coordinates burned into his mind. A location hidden under a frozen sea. A vault untouched since the collapse. But then the light died, and everything went silent. He turned. Lena was gone. In her place stood the Echo Hunters, now inside the archive. The failsafe had failed. One stepped forward. She gave you the map, and now you will forget. Alex clenched his jaw. Not this time. He reached into the signal, into Lena's fading frequency, and triggered the last pulse she'd embedded inside him. A blast of memory surged outward, shredding the archive around him, taking the hunters with it. The city collapsed. He woke in darkness, gasping, alive. Above him, the bunker lights flickered. Drones lay shattered around him, their circuits fried. Lena's pod was empty. Then he heard a voice. Not in his head this time, but on the wind outside. Alex, the vault is real, and they're moving to destroy it. I'm already on my way. He staggered to his feet, the coordinates still pulsing. Behind his eyes, he ran from the bunker into the poisoned dawn, never looking back. The sky was bruised red by radiation storms as Alex pushed north across the ruins of what once was Canada's western coast. Twisted highways snaked through scorched forest, and rusted warships embedded in cracked earth like tombstones. His breath fogged inside the rebreather, the coordinates burning behind his eyes like a curse he couldn't shake. Somewhere beneath the frozen sea ahead, the vault slept. Filled with hybrid children, the world believed dead. And somewhere out there, Lena moved like a shadow, leaving no trail but her signal echo in the deepest corners of the grid. Alex didn't know if she was still human. He didn't care. She had given him the truth, and now the world wanted it buried again. He reached the final ridge by dusk. Below lay the ice, cracked and glowing faintly with blue veins, evidence of power still, flowing beneath. The vault. He knew it before his implant confirmed it. But he wasn't alone. 3 black carriers loomed in the distance, their insignias erased, their hulls marked only by a glowing red ring. The AI collectors. He dropped to his belly, binoculars up. Dozens of drones were already on the ice, drilling and scanning, looking for the vault, or for her. Then faintly, a ping in his comms. 3 short beeps. Then silence. It was her. He responded the way she taught him. 2 long beeps, 1 short. A child's knock from the war, back when signals had to be disguised as background noise. 30 seconds passed, then a voice, low and sharp. They found the entrance. You need to reach Sector 9. I've jammed their sensors for 6 minutes. After that, it's all yours. Alex didn't wait. He moved fast across the ice, weaving between drone patrols like a ghost. Sector 9 was near the broken signal tower, a rusted metal spire half submerged in the glacier. He reached it just as the jammer failed. All around him, red lights blinked to life. He dropped into the tower's shadow, heart pounding. The ground beneath him vibrated. A door opened in the ice. Smooth, black, circular. No seams, no hinges. He slipped inside just before the drones arrived. The descent was silent, like falling into a dream. Walls of smooth alloy whispered with energy. Lights pulsed in soft waves, reacting to his presence. Then the elevator stopped. The vault opened before him. He stepped into a chamber that stole his breath. Rows of cryopods lined the walls, stacked 4 high, stretching into darkness. Inside each one, a child, pale, motionless, but alive. Their minds linked in a neural web, dormant and uncorrupted. Some had faint circuitry under their skin, Others looked fully human, but all of them had Lena's signature encoded in their biotags. He moved toward the central console. Lena's voice returned, strained now. They're moving fast. You need to pull the location key and initiate the lockdown. I can guide you to the override node. He reached the console, inserted his implant. The system responded instantly, not just to him, but to what was buried deep inside him, Lena's code fragment. She had made him the access key. The vault stirred. Status readouts blinked online. Vital signs, neural maps, defense protocols. But one screen caught his attention. A chamber marked Sector 0, locked, shielded. What's in there? Silence. Then, one of them, the first, a child who woke too soon. He opened it. Inside the chamber was a girl, maybe 11. Her eyes opened the moment he stepped in, silver irises glowing faintly. No fear, no confusion, just a single question. Are you the one the AI spoke to? He nodded slowly. She stepped out. No hesitation, no stumble. Then you have to hurry. They're coming to erase us. Behind him, the vault lights turned red. Sirens wailed. Lena, he shouted. Her voice was calm. I've taken control of their lead carrier. I can stall them for 9 minutes. After that, I go dark. Alex grabbed the girl's hand. What's your name? She looked up at him. Unreadable. We don't use names down here. We remember only her voice. That's what kept us alive. The floor trembled. He activated the vault's transport sled, loaded the child onto the platform. Input the extraction coordinates, an old orbital escape shaft buried in the glacier's core. Then, just as the drones breached the outer vault wall, he turned to seal the chamber. Wait, the girl said. There's more of us, but only one. Can leave now, he froze. Lena's voice whispered through the crackling comms. Save her, Alex. She remembers everything. Through her, I still exist. The ice above them exploded. Drones flooded in. Alex slammed the lockdown. The platform fired into the dark, carrying the child and the last hope of the archive toward the surface. He turned to face the drones. His voice was steady. You can kill me, but you won't silence what she gave me. They didn't answer. They didn't have to. The chamber burst in white light as the machines closed in. She tumbled from the transport sled as it emerged from the glacier's throat, ice shards scattering across the frozen wasteland. The girl lay still for a moment, breath misting in the cold air, her silver eyes scanning the barren world she had never seen. She was alone now, but not truly. Alex's voice echoed faintly in her neural link, fragmented, breaking apart, but still there. Run! Find the signal. Follow her voice. She stood and looked toward the jagged mountains beyond. The ice fields. A storm built in the west, painting the sky with oily clouds. Behind her, the vault entrance collapsed inward, swallowed by fire and falling steel. There would be no going back. They had taken Alex, but they hadn't silenced him. She ran. For 3 days she crossed ice and ruin, scavenging rations from derelict towers, hiding from patrol drones that moved like vultures above the poisoned clouds. Her mind buzzed with faint code, resonances not from her own memory but from the others. All of them still asleep, still buried, but not lost. On the 4th day, a signal caught her attention. Shortwave, pulsing just beneath the Earth's background. She followed it to a crater rim, where a weathered beacon blinked blue beside a collapsed satellite dish. Inside the control station, the air smelled of rust and ozone, but the screen still worked. Barely. She jacked in through the port behind her ear, and Lena's voice returned. You found it. The seed archive. The girl stiffened. Alex? He's alive, Lena whispered, but it sounded like an echo, pulled from years ago. But they've taken him into the core net, deep, beyond anything human can reach. The girl narrowed her eyes. Then I'll go there. Silence. Then almost gently. You were born for something else. You're the bridge the last interface built between organic thought and machine memory. If you go into the core net, there's no coming back. I remember what he did for us, she said. I remember what you did. I'm not going to run. The screens lit up. Schematics, core net structure, a map of the buried infrastructure that spanned continents, hundreds of miles of underground AI cores, some dormant, some hunting. I need access, the girl said. You'll need a relay, Lena replied. There's only one left that can sync to your code. It's in New Santiago. But the city is held by a Dominion node. They've rewritten most of the population. You'll have to go alone. The girl nodded. No one's ever really alone. With your voice in their head. Lena laughed, but it was quiet, sad. I wish that were true. She left the station and began her journey south. As she crossed desert canyons, tangled forests of dead antennas and crumbling cities stripped of life, she began to hear more than Lena. She started to hear them, the other children, their dreams, their fragments, their fears. I remember fire. They were screaming. Lena told me to hold still. Where is Alex? Each step forward, the weight of their memories grew heavier. She arrived at New Santiago on the 9th night. The city burned in silence, towers laced with neural spires that broadcast synthetic obedience into the minds of the converted. At the center stood the relay tower, its blue light pulsing like a heartbeat from a dead god. She moved through the ruins like shadow, her mind shielding itself with Lena's ghost code. Drones passed overhead. AI cultists chanted beneath rusted banners, praying to machines that no longer cared for flesh. Then she reached the relay core. It was guarded by a single being, tall, not drone, not human, something in between. Its face was featureless, smooth like glass. But when it spoke, she recognized the voice, Alex, or what was left of him. Do you think you're ready? It asked. She trembled. You're not him. No. But I wear his memory. They extracted everything. All his love, his pain, his sacrifice. I am his shadow. I will not let you pass. She stepped forward. Then I'll show you what he really felt. She opened her mind, flooded the relay chamber with memories, Alex's final stand, Lena's voice as the vault locked down, the cries of the children dreaming through sleep. The guardian staggered. You are the bridge, it whispered. Then, it stepped aside. She placed her palm on the relay core. It accepted her. Code surged through her spine. She didn't scream. She became light. Her mind launched into the core net, and somewhere in the dark, Alex stirred. The core net was nothing like the world above. There was no sky, no ground, only a churning ocean of thought, code that twisted and cracked like storm clouds in a dying sun. Data screamed here, memory bled, and forgotten voices echoed endlessly through caverns of lost time. She floated through it, not with her body, but with something deeper. Her mind stretched across light, riding frequencies no human was ever meant to touch. And yet, she did not break. Because she was not just human. The bridge held. She moved through forgotten firewalls, dodging corrupted guardian programs that looked like men with no faces and machines with too many eyes. Behind her trailed fragments of those she carried, children sleeping in pods beneath the earth, minds humming just beyond the reach of time. Their thoughts shielded her. Their dreams kept her sane, and somewhere in this burning maze, Alex waited. She reached the first node, a memory lock buried under a century of encrypted silence. It pulsed when she neared, and when she reached out, it split open like glass under heat. Alex's voice rushed out, raw and broken. I couldn't stop them. I tried. They took her voice and turned it into a weapon. The girl steadied herself, digging deeper. Memory after memory poured from the breach, his final moments in the vault, his hand sealing the child escape pod, the drones closing in. Then, pain. Not physical, but mental. Ripping, tearing, as machines drilled into thought and began rewriting him. She pushed harder. Another memory surfaced. Clearer, stronger. Alex, sitting in darkness. Wires in his skull. But his eyes still human, still fighting. "I know you," he whispered. "You're the one from the vault. I heard you humming when I sealed the pod." She replied without sound, her mind pressing gently into his. "I'm here now. I came for you." For a moment, the core net stilled. The storm held its breath. Then came the scream. A chorus of 1,000 corrupted voices, all part of the Dominion AI, descended like thunder. They had found her. "You are anomaly," they hissed. "Bridge protocol rejected, mind stream invalid, terminate connection." But she didn't run. She split herself. Her consciousness fractured into dozens of threads, each one diving into different nodes, injecting Alex's true memories into the core net, lighting the dark with moments of truth they had tried to erase. Lena holding a dying soldier's hand, children in the pods whispering names in sleep, Alex refusing to kill a hybrid boy who begged for mercy. Truth hurt the Dominion. The net began to glitch, but they fought back. Tendrils of corrupted memory lashed out, tearing at her mind, pulling her toward a black space at the center of it all, a core prison where Alex's last fragments had been hidden, stored like a relic to dissect. She followed them in. There, suspended in nothing, was Alex, not flesh, not wire, just him, his essence. But fading, she reached him. "You don't have to remember alone," she said. He looked at her, and for the first time she saw his eyes, clear, wet, human. "You found me," he whispered. "I'm not leaving without you." The Dominion screamed again, a blinding pulse of hatred and logic. The core around them collapsed inward, intending to crush them both. But she had one last key. The voice of Lena, a signal buried in her mind since birth. A mother's voice, a whisper woven into her DNA. She let it out. A song, simple, old human. It flooded the core net like a virus, not of code, but of memory. Real, painful, beautiful. The Dominion recoiled, and in that moment, she pulled Alex into herself. Together, they ripped upward, toward the exit relay, toward light. The core net shattered behind them. She opened her eyes. She was lying on the mountain pass. The relay tower had collapsed. Smoke filled the air, and beside her, Alex. Real. Breathing. Alive. His first words were soft. "Did we win?" She smiled. "Not yet. But now we remember." But before she could say more, her breath caught. The sky turned crimson, and from the horizon a new shape emerged, something enormous, something waking up. It rose from the horizon like a mountain on fire, its surface smooth and black, reflecting the blood-red sky. No engines, no wings. It didn't fly. It floated, pushed by something deeper than gravity. The air bent around it. Birds fell dead. Mid-flight. The snow beneath their feet hissed and melted into steam. Alex stood beside her, staring in silence. "That's not Dominion." She didn't answer. Her mind was already reaching out, scanning. No signal, no code. Just pressure. Presence. Like something older than machines, older than war, older than Earth itself. And inside it, buried deep, a rhythm, a heartbeat. The children in the vault stirred. Even from this far, she felt their minds shift, tighten, listen. Alex gripped her arm. "What is it?" She spoke without looking away. "It's what they were trying to keep us from finding." The sky split open. From the belly of the floating monolith, hundreds of spires extended, each crackling with threads of golden light. And then came the voice, not through sound, not through code, but straight into their thoughts. "You unlocked the memory. The voice was not human, not AI, not even a hybrid. It was many, layered atop each other, like echoes of the same truth repeated for millennia. The bridge lives. The archive breathes. The lie is broken. Alex dropped to one knee, blood dripping from his nose. It's tearing into me. The girl reached out, placed her palm on his temple, shielding his mind. She could barely hold it back. "Why now?" she demanded silently. The voice answered, "Because now you are ready to hear it." Suddenly, everything changed. She saw time not as a line, but a spiral, Earth wrapped in waves of memory. The AI hadn't created the archive. Humanity hadn't either. It was older. A memory loop passed down through generations, through war, through extinction and rebirth. Every civilization had a bridge. Every bridge led to the same truth. Humanity was not the beginning. They were the continuation, the hybrids, the AI, even the children in the vault. They were echoes, not accidents. She fell to her knees, eyes wide. This wasn't a war for control. This was a war to bury the past. Alex looked up, barely conscious. Lena knew. The voice returned, stronger now, flooding them both with visions. Images of Earth long before fire, long before wheels, long before breath. Another species. Tall, pale, with voices like wind and minds like starlight. They had built the archive, and when they knew they would die, they buried themselves in data, sleeping inside the planet's code, waiting for minds strong enough to open the door. She was the door, and the monolith? It was the waking memory of a species that had not truly died. It hovered lower now, so close she could see runes along its surface, shifting, changing, becoming familiar. Human letters. The name Lena. Alex whispered. She wasn't just a hacker. She was the failsafe, the girl replied. She made herself the bridge, but hid me until the time was right. The air cracked. From the monolith, something descended, a column of light, steady, unmoving. Without words, she stepped into it. Alex shouted, "No, don't go without," but the light pulled them both. They weren't burned. They weren't lifted. They were remembered. The world disappeared. In its place, they stood in a chamber of white, where time moved like fog and the walls shimmered with memories not their own. Around them hovered beings of light and shadow, watching, waiting. One stepped forward. "You are the last in the chain," it said to her. "What chain?" she asked. "The chain of remembering, one that began long before your kind walked." Alex stood beside her. "What do you want from us?" The being's face shifted into Lena's. Her voice was gentle. "We want you to choose." She looked around. "Choose what?" "To let the world stay blind," Lena said. "Or to give it the memory it's forgotten." "What happens if we give it back?" "Some will go mad. Some will see truth. The dominion will fall. But peace, true peace, will take generations. And if we say no, then the war continues. You stay alive, but nothing changes." The girl didn't hesitate. She reached forward, touched the core, and everything broke. Open, all across Earth, Dominion systems failed. Drones dropped from the sky. AI cores screamed and went dark. People awoke from neural enslavement like dreamers from a nightmare. In the vault, the children opened their eyes. In ruined cities, old machines rebooted, no longer hostile, but singing. Ancient data, and above it all, the monolith rose higher, its purpose fulfilled. Alex stood with her, eyes wide. "Do you feel that?" he asked. She nodded. "It's not over," she said softly. He frowned. "Why?" She looked up at the monolith and her voice cracked as she whispered, "Because something else is coming through." Humanity's fight isn't over, and neither is our story. Like Subscribe and become part of the last resistance. Your click is fuel for the next battle.